Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So this is the coach back again, and today we will be discussing about what is a constructor inside a JavaScript. Okay, so first of all, what is a constructor? So suppose you are a salesperson, okay, and you have your own products to sell, such as like you are selling some dolls, some cars, some robots. Okay, so basically you are a toy person who creates toys and sells them off. Okay, so toy, and then there are toys like cars, dolls, or some robots you have, okay, which you have created. Okay, so being a creator, what you actually do, so being a creator, a toy creator, you have a blueprint. Okay, you have a blueprint like how to assemble these toys and make it, like how to assemble the car, the dolls, the robots. Okay, how to make it and assemble it, and then sell it in the market. Okay, so you have a blueprint for creating these products. Okay, similarly in JavaScript, this particular toy is your object which you are creating. Okay, fine. And these cars, dolls, and robot, these are your web elements which you are adding to your web page. So you can call them as products as well, which you are adding to your web page. Fine. So here what's happening, if I explain it in a simple terms, constructor is a template in your JavaScript, okay, which you can create as many times you want inside your code. Okay, so suppose you have a website and you have 3 products inside the website. Okay, 3 products, fine. So these 3 products must be having some name, some price, some features and all. Okay, so you, in your coding, you can create a constructor wherein inside the constructor you can mention the product name, price, and description for each product. Individual product, a constructor can be created. So basically a template can be created for each product, and then it can be used inside your coding, so that whenever in your website you add a new product, okay, so you don't have to make a layout for that particular product again. What you can do, you can just add on a constructor to your code again, and then mention the features of that particular product here. That means you already have your layout. You just have to use the layout, you just have to use the template, and then write your code. That's it. That's how constructor is used in your coding. So basically, if you want to know the advantage of constructor, is it makes your task easier, it saves time. Okay, so particularly in web development, if you are using constructor, at that point of time it's easier to play with your products. It's easier to arrange your products in your website, because in a website you have various kinds of elements. Okay, like the images, the videos, the titles, the products descriptions, the pricings, and everything. So if you're using a constructor inside your coding, those constructors will be acting as a template for each and every element you have used in your website, or the products which you have used in your website. So basically a blueprint for your product which you are going to launch in your website. Okay, so now how to use a constructor inside a JavaScript, I'll show you that. Okay, so let's take a small example first, then I'll move on to how you can use multiple constructors at the same time. So I'll start off with script. Okay, and then inside this I'll create a class. Let's say the class is employee. Okay, so basically in the output, what I want to show you guys, I need an ID and I need the name of that particular employee. Okay, so inside the class employee, I'll be creating a constructor. Okay, So this is how you create a constructor. Now see the parenthesis, the brackets, this is left open. I mean nothing is there inside. So this is like without any kind of argument. If you want to use the constructor with an argument, I'll show you that example as well. Okay. So this is without argument. Fine. So here we can write as without. Okay. Now inside this we will be mentioning our ID and our name, right? So here in the whenever you're using a constructor in your coding in your JavaScript, at that point of time you have to use the keyword which is known as this. Okay, so this dot ID will be there. Suppose the ID is 101. Okay, I have another this dot name and it has the name, let's say coding. Okay, so here if you see, I have just initialized two variables, that is ID and name, and these are the values given to it, that is 101 and coding, and I want the output as 101, then a space, and then coding should be printed over there. So basically inside the constructor, what you are doing with the help of the this keyword, you can declare your elements, what you want to show it in your output. Okay, you can make a template. So here I have created a template. Okay, now what I want to do, I'll just create an object for this particular class. Okay, so when you create an object for this particular whatever class you have taken, then only your program will be executed. So first of all, create an object. So for that I'll take var data type, a variable such as let's say e. Okay, and inside that I'll create an object. So with the help of new keyword, write new and then the class name, that is employee. That's it. Okay, so that is, so my object is created inside this particular variable which is e. Now my object is created. Next I want to print out, okay, whatever is there inside my constructor. So I'll write document.writeln for JavaScript. Okay, and I'll write e dot, first of all I want ID, and then I want a space, and then I want e dot name. Okay, now if you see over here, first of all let me close the script. Okay, now if you see over here, I just created a constructor. Inside my constructor I just mentioned whatever elements I want to display in my website. So basically these are the elements which I want to show it in my website, and it should be of a particular format. So for formatting it, I have just used it inside the document.writeln, wherein e is the variable in which I have created an object. So when you create an object, you use the keyword which is new, then only this particular class will work. Okay, so you have to place your constructor inside the class itself. Okay, so now this is done. Let's save this off and let's try to run this. Okay, so this is when, so this is the one. Okay, now if you see, the output is 101 and then coding. This is what we wanted. Now if you see, there is no space over here like after 101 and coding. So what you can do, you can go back to your code and then you can put space over here and then save it off and then just refresh it off. Okay, now if you see, there is a space. Fine, now you are able to see the space. Fine, so the output comes up in the browser, that is 101, and then the space is coding. So basically what we did everything inside the constructor, like the variable declaration and everything using this keyword, and then accordingly we wanted the output. Fine, that was how you can use a constructor. Now I want to use two constructors at a time. Okay, so for that I have written a code. So let's say we have a class which is named as company. Okay, so there is a class which is named as company name. Okay, this is the class. Fine, inside this particular class there is a constructor which has this dot company. That means it has the company name which is coding made easy. Okay, now once this class gets closed over here, I have created another class which is actually extending the first class. This is the first class, that is company name. So I have created another class which I wrote as class employee. That means this employee is my second class, and it is actually extending the first class, which is company name. Okay. Now, when you are using two classes at a time, so basically you are trying to inherit the property. So you can call this as a parent class. Okay, this is the parent class. And the second class, which is employee, that one is this one is your child class. Okay, now one most important thing, when you are trying to inherit any property from the parent class, so in your child class, if you are using a constructor, you have to use the word super. What will super do in JavaScript? With the help of super keyword, you can inherit the properties from parent class. That means you're using two classes, two constructors, so you can inherit the property. That's the one thing. Next thing is, here if you see, I have passed arguments to it. Okay, so in our previous example, there was the brackets was empty. Nothing was there inside it. But now if you see, I have created one class which doesn't have a parameter, and I have created another constructor which has a parameter, that is ID and name. These two are parameters. Okay. Now, with the help of super keyword, I am just inheriting this property of this particular class. That means I want the output to be as, first the ID name should come up. Okay. Second, the name should come up. And next, the company name should also come up. Okay. That means ID, name and company should come up in my output. Fine. So here, if you see, once this class is completed, I've just taken a variable emp, and then I have just created an object. Okay, and I have passed the parameters. So new employee is my object, and the parameter is 1 and John. That means in the output, the ID is 1, the name is John, and then when it comes on to the company, it will execute this particular. That means coding made easy would be my company name. Okay, so that's how this will work. So if you see over here, what we actually did, we took two classes. Okay, this is the first class. Okay, and this one was the second class. Okay, and inside our first class, we took the company name inside a constructor. And in the second class, we took the ID and name inside another constructor using a parameter. Okay, and then once these two classes are done, we are just creating an object with a parameter and then printing the values. Okay, so this is how you can use, or you can create multiple constructors, multiple classes, and then you can execute it in your website. Okay, so here the output should be 1, then John, and then coding made easy. Okay, so let's see if the output is, so we save this one, and here we have to open the file name is window.html. so this is the file window.html. Now if you see, the output is 1 John, coding made easy. Okay, so this is how the constructors can be used in your program to make your program easier. Okay, you can make your programming easier with the help of constructors, well organized coding, so that whenever you want to add any changes to your website, within the constructor you can do the changes and your job is done. Okay.